Yes, it worked. All right. It's always it's always a random draw whether Zoom is actually going to stream to YouTube or not. So welcome to the second edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vays. I wanted to do this after futures had opened and had traded for at least a little while, and also wanted to make sure that Europe is still awake when we bring you this video. So I'm going to wait for the live chat to come up. Upon the load, a few people straggle in. I know YouTube does not do a very good job in notifying you guys when we go live, and therefore we'll give it a minute and then we'll go right to the charts. Got a couple of good questions, and I wanted to do that comparison versus the 1932 presidential election. So that's what we are going to focus on today. All right, I got your live chat. We're gonna close this. We're gonna move this to here, and we're gonna put the live chat here. Okay, and we are good to go. Let's go to screen share and take it from there. All right. I'm actually going to kick off today with, of course, the shilling of the Tone Vays affiliate programs. This is a good way for you to support without actually paying. I love my Embly card. Any day now or any week now, the website is going to be updated and these cards will be available to you. I just ordered this one, and when they have the ability to have more than one card to the same account, I will have them all linked to the same account. Okay. Financial Summit, first week of November in Bali. Understanding Bitcoin, first week of October in Malta. I do plan on being there. There's no way in hell I'm going to be in quarantine through the summer. Basically, pretty much as of May 1st, I'm going outside. Worst case scenario, June 1st, I'm going outside. I guarantee you guys that as of June 1st, I will be going outside. I don't care if I get arrested. There's no way I'm going to be stuck at home for the rest of my life. That's basically how it's going to go. That's been my viewpoint. Someone asked me the other day on a video, what do you think is the breaking point for people, especially in the US? And my breaking point is June 1st. I think the people's breaking point is June 1st. I think on June 1st, people aren't going to give a shit what the government says. They're going to open their businesses. And there ain't a damn thing anyone in the US is going to be able to do about it. There's way too many guns. And people are not going to be locked down that long. So my view is by June 1st, Memorial Day, everyone's barbecuing. Memorial Day, the last weekend of May, everyone is getting together and barbecuing. And there's nothing law enforcement is going to be able to do about it. I plan to have a barbecue or be at a barbecue Memorial Day, no matter what. By then, you're better off taking your chances because if the economy is shut down going into June, you might as well just start eating ramen noodles, because then there's no way there's going to be a recovery within the next 5 to 10 years. So you have one shot to end this in May and still have potentially a normal functioning society within 3 years. Otherwise, that's over. There's no way. No way this is going to go past May. I am as sure of that as anything else. Someone's asking, where do I get the background for these videos? I have a graphic designer, guys. It goes by World of Rusty. You can find them on Twitter. World of Rusty. Okay, let's go back to screen share, and we'll go to the charts. Okay, we're going straight to Bitcoin. We're going straight to the lower level timeframes. Please watch the video this morning for the higher level timeframe overview. We're going straight to the daily chart. The daily chart pulled back. We just got a new candle. The pullback of this candle took place in the last 2 hours of the daily candle, and all of that had to do with the S&P 500 and the stock market open. We're going to have a very interesting week to say the least. We are right back at resistance. We are actually going to the lower level time frame. Sorry, this is the weekly chart, not the daily chart. My bad. Or is it the daily chart? Sorry, yeah, this is the weekly chart, right? Let's go to the daily chart. The weekly chart is not that interesting. This is a green 2. This needs to go above a 1. Is that going to happen this week? Maybe towards the end of the week. It's very hard. It's very difficult to say. We have 7 more days to go for this candle. And the weekly chart is really in the middle of nowhere. So there's not much that could be interpreted from the weekly chart. It's all about the daily chart. We had a pretty damn good breakout this morning. Now the S&P is throwing a little wrench into the equation. So while I was pretty bullish this morning when I did the video and everything was breaking out, I also said that this moving average is gonna be trouble. And it may be trouble for a little while longer. For now, I would love to somehow extend this triangle without breaking rules, but unfortunately I can't. I would love to extend this triangle even by 1 more day without breaking the rules, but I can't. So this makes it a little bit problematic. We have to go to the low level time frame, but right now, looking at the daily chart, you see when this was at the top of the candle touching the moving average, it seemed bullish, but you knew you were at resistance. Now we have no idea where the S&P 500 is going to go come market open and into tomorrow. So it's impossible to say which direction Bitcoin is going to go at this point. Obviously, you should. We've been talking about the correlation between Bitcoin and stocks. So when I go to the low level time frame, and oh, by the way, for those that aren't getting the notifications on YouTube, you could put a notification on Twitter, because I don't tweet that much, but I always tweet out when the videos come out. So that's another way to get notified if you're missing notifications. So if this was the level of the breakout that we talked about, if this was the level of the breakout, this is the worst case scenario price you should have paid to take the bullish trade in Bitcoin. That also means after you were making a decent chunk of money on this trade, assuming it was a short-term trade, you were up 4% on this trade. That's the worst entry price, right? You could have entered on a 3 above a 2, giving you a bigger gain. You could have entered on the body of the 3. You could have entered on a 2 above a 1, right? So I don't know where people entered on their bullish trade. But if this was a worst case scenario entry, you should not still be in this position. If it was a short-term trade, I would have set my stop loss above break even, and hopefully I would have gotten a little bit better than that. But I once again do not want to be in the bullish trade. And now you have a 4-hour price flip to a red 1. Look, trading is not easy. And the worst, and Tone Vays rule number 3 is don't let profitable trades become losing trades. Now, the time frame matters. As we've been talking about the weekly time frame is not very helpful in your trading. Now, I am bullish, and I've been bullish pretty much since the lows, so I still have my GBTC position, and I didn't enter over the weekend because GBTC is closed. I was able to pick up GBTC. The last time I picked up GBTC was right here, right in this area. I haven't added any GBTC to my position. I wanted to add to my position on a pullback right here, which didn't happen. Then I wanted to add on a pullback to 6,800. But when the pullback came, GBTC was already closed. Remember, this was Friday's candle, and GBTC didn't trade on Friday because of the public holiday. So I never got a chance to add to my position right here. And it looks like that was a good thing, because right now, that's exactly where it is. And it could pull back further. Now, this is a 4-hour chart. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. Okay, on a 1-hour chart, I am not bullish at all. We've broken the 1-hour Lucid SAR. We've broken our moving average. and we're sitting right at support of the triangle. This is the 1 hour time frame. Now, we have also we just got bounced. That's what I was looking for. We just bounced off of the setup trend line, but being a red 3, there's a high probability this will not last. The main reason why I went to the 1 hour time frame is I want to create a best fit line for a support. So we have a low here, a low here, and a low right there. So I'm going to create a best fit line to touch the maximum number of candles without breaking any of the bodies. Now, I already broke that rule right here, but I broke it by so little that I don't care. All right. So here's my best fit line, and I'm going to extend this line forward. Notice that this line is just a little bit below the setup trend line. Certainly not enough to matter. It's about $20 or $30. So this vicinity here, the setup trend line and this line here, and also notice how close it is to the bottom of that triangle. I'm going to say the following very, very carefully. If we go below this area, this triple support area, Bitcoin is in a little bit of trouble and could pull back further. However, this has to happen after 10 a.m. on Monday morning after 10 a.m. Eastern time, and the reason for that is because the stock market has to be open for this to happen. All the insanity that is taking place on Sunday night and overnight into Monday in the stock futures market cannot be trusted going into market open. So if the market is going up on Monday, Bitcoin will also be going up. And if the market is going down on Monday, there is a good probability Bitcoin will still be going down. All right. So that's why I have to be very, very careful when I say if Bitcoin goes below this, it's in trouble, because it looks like it may go below this overnight, but by tomorrow it's going to all turn around unless the S&P is still down. Now, I keep talking about this correlation between S&P and Bitcoin without even looking at the S&P chart, which we're going to get to in a minute. But let's go back to the daily chart. That's the weekly chart. This is the day. This is a 1 hour. It's supposed to be a daily chart. Sorry, where's the 4 hour chart? Oh, I stuck this there. By the way, this is another way to get notified about my videos. The 4 hour chart. Okay, here we go. This was what I was supposed to turn into a 1 hour chart, but it doesn't matter. So right here, I'm going to draw that best fit line to mark the lows. And it's right there. Oh, also notice this is I'm going to draw it right here to match the line on that I drew on the 1 hour chart, which is now my daily chart. And over here, you're just above the setup trend line, where on the hourly chart, you're just below. So there's a lot of support here, a lot of support. And in fact, this is where my channel line should be. So I'm actually going to take this line. I'm going to get rid of it. Because I don't need it there, because my channel support line could be right there, because it's the same thing. That's basically the channel, all right? And we're back in the middle of this channel, and the middle of this channel is a no trade zone. So now, once again, now this candle still has a long time to finish, but if we close this candle in the middle of this channel, I once again need a green 2 going above a green 1 to take the bullish entry. The bearish entry of a red 2 going below a red 1 becomes problematic because Bitcoin has just fallen so much in a short amount of time with a bearish entry, but I am a lot more cavalier with a bullish entry and a green 2 going above a green 1. Okay. GBTC is going to open on Monday. I'm very interested where that GBT premium is. Shit coins are still performing fairly well, and that continues to be a headwind and a problem for Bitcoin going up. Now, when there is a flight to quality within the shitcoin space, which could happen if the crypto space begins to fall. You see, there is another catalyst here. While Bitcoin is correlated with the S&P, if the S&P starts to crash and the crypto market starts to crash again, I could certainly see a flight to quality within the crypto ecosystem, once again driving the Bitcoin dominance to 75 and above, especially with the halving coming. Don't forget the halving. The halving is now less than a month away. We're a month away from the halving, and people are going to be talking about it more and more and more, hyping up Bitcoin. Shitcoins have already halved. B-Trash halved, and no one really cares about BSV, and it may or may not have halved, and no one noticed, so no one cares. But anyway, mining hash rate still doing pretty damn well. So the next adjustment will probably be to the upside, and this is probably why we're speeding up the halving, and it's going to happen faster. Miner profitability. I'm going to keep this chart up until the halving because I want to see that drop in half, right? So we're going to fall somewhere. Well, this is 6,000. Sorry, this is 3,000. We're not going to fall. So if we're around 6,000, we're going to touch this line one more time, which could happen. But I think Bitcoin will stay above 6,000. I'm still saying that. Doesn't have to, but I think it will. Shitcoin profitability since the beginning of 2009. We still have two shitcoins that have outperformed Bitcoin since 2009. One of them is BSV, and the other one is Binance Token. Binance Token is the security, is the the uncompliant, unlicensed security of the Binance Corporation, and BSV is just a joke. But yet they're outperforming Bitcoin. Gold, very interesting. So gold is holding its high. I like the daily 7. Let's see if gold gives us a top at a daily 9 and then pulls back. I am still bullish on gold. Just like Bitcoin, gold can pull back to its breakout levels of about 1675. 1675 was my breakout level, and gold can certainly pull back into that level. But I would like to see a top come on Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Monday's candle. Tuesday, Wednesday. So I would love to see a top come on Wednesday, and that potentially takes me out of the silver trade. Ooh, I take that back. Tomorrow takes me out of the silver trade. Remember, I am long silver. I've been long silver since here, and I am looking to exit. I will be looking to exit silver tomorrow. I would love to catch a 9. I would love to catch a spike on the 9. I would love to get a shooting star candle here, and I might potentially short silver after being long silver since this 9. Now, gold is going to have its stop a day later. Now, keep in mind, silver bottomed on the 19th of March. Gold on a daily scale had a 9 right here. So gold bottomed. Well, gold kind of had a rounder bottom, but the 9 on silver took place on the 19th, which was a Thursday. The 9 on gold didn't take place until March 23rd, which was a Monday. Okay, so gold is going to top. It looks like it wants to top out a day after silver. So silver is leading gold. Silver led gold to the upside, and looks like silver will probably lead gold to the downside. So I would be very, very careful right here with silver, and I am looking to take my profit from that trade tomorrow on a 9. Sorry, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is this. This is tomorrow's candle. So Tuesday on a 9. Let's be very specific here. Oil, very interesting. So this weekend, Bloomberg put out the article on the progress of oil. Oil price war ends with historic OPEC plus deal to cut output. This is very, very intriguing. Now, this should be bullish for the stock market, and I'll tell you why. This should be bullish for the stock market. Any cooperation between nations is bullish for economic progress, and therefore, by default, bullish for the stock market. And I got a couple of questions. Excellent. Keep them coming. I have someone that's grabbing good questions for me. I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but I do try to keep these videos to under an hour, considering I'm doing two a day now. So any cooperation between nations is a positive sign, because the opposite of that is war. And a global economic downturn is not good. The chances of war go up greatly. And therefore, we got to be careful. So any cooperation is good. And I find that bullish for the stock market. Now, let's take a look at oil. Oil is not doing great. Oil is down since the open. It made a new weekly low. That's impressive. So the daily scale isn't very helpful. Let's go to the weekly scale. The weekly is on a bullish price flip, but if this is a bad week for oil, it gives us a red 6, and that still gives me a chance to get into oil real cheap. So looking at this here, oil just made a new weekly low. We are now low. We went lower on oil. Now again, anything that happens Sunday night doesn't matter. We'll see what happens to oil over the next 24 hours. So RSI has not yet given you a buy signal on oil. The RSI has to go above this line to give you a buy signal on oil. That hasn't happened. The MACD has not given you a buy signal either. And TD on a weekly scale has not given you a buy signal either. And in fact, we have a countdown phase on a weekly. So oil could be going down way into the summer. Who the hell knows? What is this? Oh, this is 1932. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're at 900 viewers, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, don't forget, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. I have a goal to get to 100,000 subscribers, hopefully this year. And please check that out. Also, you can support with the affiliate page on tonedbase.com. I absolutely love my Embly card. And any week now, you'll be able to order one of these bad boys off of their website. Financial Summit coming to Bali first week of November. Understanding coming to Malta first week of October. Those are my announcements. Nope, one more on-demand videos. Check those out. Options are for sale. They're available. I will teach another course probably in June. Probably in June, though maybe I should do it in May while still in quarantine, but I'll probably do it in June. Actually, you know, I want to enjoy my June. So we'll see. I was supposed to make a decision this weekend about when I'm going to teach it. So I'll do it this week. All right, let's talk about the S&P 500. Let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. What's going on? So when the S&P 500 opened at 6 p.m., the futures market, we made a new swing high. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, it's hard to tell. We did not. We just missed it. We missed it by a tick. So we swung up. Here's the opening candle. We swung up and crashed down. And now we're sitting here in the middle. This is not good posture for the S&P 500, but it's Sunday night. Like I was talking about, go back to my video last Sunday, I talked about how the futures market on a Sunday night is generally irrelevant. You have to at least wait until 8 a.m. on Monday to see what the hell's going on. Okay, just answer your live chat. Okay, so here's the S&P cash market, doesn't change. So I'm not thinking anything. I'm going to wait till market open. I have absolutely no expectation of stock market going into Monday. Last week was the most important week opening, in my opinion. Right now, I still think the S&P has to pull back. We have gone far enough away from this low, from this secondary low. So it's very possible the S&P has already bottomed and put in a secondary low. However, However, this concerns me. What you're looking at right here, and this is what I really wanted to talk about today, and then I'll get to some of your Q&A. What I really want to talk about is the 1932 election. So Herbert Hoover became president in 1929. So he became president just like at the worst possible time. The worst possible time. So he became president just as the market topped. Okay. And actually, he became president. He won the 1928 election, so he became president in the beginning of 1929. The market didn't top until around October, so he was president for a good 8-9 months before the market actually topped. So he was there through the top, and it's not easy being president when this happens. The big crash all the way down. Now, Hoover was a Republican, but he did something very, very unwise. 6 to 9 months before the election, looks like 6 months before the election, he did something not very smart, and it probably cost him the election. And here's what he did. At the worst possible time, right here, just before the 1932 low, which was the ultimate low in the stock market, which also happened at the worst time because that low came in just before the election. Okay, the low came in July, and the election was there. So on June 6, 1932, President Hoover signed into law the new Revenue Act, which increased income taxes and corporation taxes, along with a variety of excise taxes, under the theory that austerity was necessary. Raising taxes to help cover cost of stimulus was a disaster and sent the stock market into its July 1932 low. So that was one of his huge mistakes. And as a Republican raising taxes, that doesn't happen very often. Now, remember, income taxes were new. Income taxes only came in for the first time around the creation of the Fed. So taxes have only been around for like 15 years at the time. So they haven't been around for very long. But he raised taxes. Now, by the way, the source for this historical account is Martin Armstrong's website, which I started to read once again. I don't follow his trading, but I really like his economics. And more importantly, he's one of the, I don't know a better economic historian than Martin Armstrong. The Europeans saw Roosevelt as the populist and were sure Hoover would win, much as they believe, much as like, so let me say one more thing. This article that I am referencing, I think it was written around 2000. Oh, I'm sorry. This was a more recent one. I think this was a more recent one. Oh, no, never mind. This was a more recent one because I tweeted out 2 other much older articles. I have it referenced in my tweet, but I don't have the article handy. So everyone thought Hoover would win re-election, just like everyone thought Hillary would beat Trump in the last election. But that didn't happen. Now, during the election, Roosevelt misrepresented everything and blamed Hoover for creating the Depression, claiming it spread to Europe and from the United States, and it was exactly the opposite. The 1931 European sovereign debt defaults made the Great Depression really, really bad. It wasn't the stock market crash. The stock market is just speculation. It was the 1931 sovereign debt defaults all throughout Europe. That's what ended up like making the Great Depression in the US really, really bad. Now, let's keep reading. Then the focus began to turn to the upcoming presidential election in November 1932. The most serious problems resulted from Roosevelt's statements began to arise over his position on currency. he had made several vague statements in reference to a managed currency, but distinctly omitted the word gold. On the eve before the election, pressure from many sectors demanded that Roosevelt clarify his position. He did, and which he did. He pledged that he would not, I repeat, not abandon the gold standard, and inferred that concerns that respect were not warranted. Once again, anything that a president says during an election will be done the complete opposite, right? Like Obama, I remember voting for Obama, one of my, dumbest mistakes ever. I voted for Obama in round one, certainly didn't vote for him in round two. And what got me voting for Obama was his statements against the NSA, was his statements against spying on American citizens. And that got me voted for Obama. Now, what happened under Obama? The spying on American citizens increased instead of decreased. But I voted for him to decrease that. So anything that a president says during an election will be the opposite. But here's why Trump won. Here's why Trump crushed Hillary. Because what Trump said during the election, he has been trying to do. Trump did not bullshit. Trump set out to do everything he promised in the election, not the opposite, which is exactly what Obama did. Obama basically did the opposite of what he promised, when Trump either did what he promised or is still trying to do what he promised. Whether you agree with that or not is besides the point. The point is he is doing, like, he was honest about what he was going to do. And he tried to do it. He didn't lie. He didn't bullshit. Okay. So here's Roosevelt bullshitting going into the election, saying that he would not abandon the gold standard, which he did a few months into his presidency. Like, that didn't take long, right? I mean, that took a lot longer than identifying the lies that CNN does in their stories. That usually happens within 24 hours these days. But yeah, CNN is just out of control. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Okay. Nevertheless, so going in, this is still going into the election. Yeah, if anyone doesn't believe me, the best video to Google, I'm just gonna Google it. It was candidate Barack. I don't know how to spell his name. Not a good speller. We'll just say Obama. I know how to spell that. President Obama debates President Obama. There's a good video out there for this. Here it is. Candidate Obama debates President Obama on government spying. This is great. I don't know if my speaker is on or not, but. And this got released in 2013. So this got released, a while ago. And it's taking its sweet time. All right, well, maybe we'll start eventually. Let's go back to the chart. So, nevertheless, the rumors that Roosevelt would confiscate gold or abandon the gold standard led to a panic going into the election. By October 1932, about 1,200 banks had failed that month alone, as people were frantic to withdraw their money from the election. People were in a state of panic, rushing to all banks and demanding their money in coins. Anyone who had money withdrew it, much as they did in Germany in 1918, right at the end of World War I, with the Communist Revolution installed the Weimar Republic. Americans hoarded their cash, and this created a massive wave of deflation. The rumors were so massive that even France was concerned enough. France again, remember, France were the ones in the late 60s that withdrew all their gold again. So the French seem to really like their gold, and they usually have a good feeling about when their gold is in jeopardy. I don't know why they keep giving it to the US, but hey, it's up to you guys over there in France. So France started pulling out their gold as well that summer in 1932. Nevada was the first state to implement restrictions on November 1st, 1932. Lieutenant Governor declared a state banking holiday for 12 days. Nothing would stop the massive panic to withdraw funds. By February 4th, 1933, Louisiana did it. Then Michigan did it. They all started to declare bank holidays to prevent people from withdrawing their gold basically out of the banks. The crisis did not abate and extended it. And they're comparing it to Greece in 2010. Okay, finally, last slide. I don't want to keep reading forever. It was news of Michigan that set off a major panic nationwide to withdraw money from banks. A bank holiday spread to Maryland, Ohio, Indiana, going into February of 1933. This is after, or right around the time FDR was taking office. Basically, it spread all throughout. Roosevelt's first act was to declare a national bank holiday on March 6th. Indeed, the problem not been moved to panic withdraw their money from the banks. So basically, Armstrong is suspecting that if people did not remove all of their gold from banks at the end, going into that election, and right after FDR got elected, remember, you have a Democrat that created all these social programs, got elected. So obviously, people were scared for their money. Now, I'm about to make a comparison to today. And everyone withdrew their $20 gold coins. We may not have any gold coins in existence if people did not rush to the bank to withdraw those gold coins as FDR was going into office in 1933. And the first thing FDR did was he declared a bank holiday. And on April 5th, he issued the order to confiscate all gold. Okay. And there you go. So that is the history of what happened at the very bottom of the. I mean, look, the bull market was not even close to beginning, right? This is the same thing I say in Bitcoin. Let me zoom this out, right? So look, the market bottomed here, but there was another bottom right here. This is where, taxes were actually lowered. Again, interesting scenario. The Republican raised taxes at the worst possible time, and the Democrat, Roosevelt was president for like forever, and ended up lowering taxes to really push the economy forward. Now, the new high didn't happen. Now, this was the bottom in price, but the Great Depression was not over. And World War II, started in 1936, I believe. World War II began, and the U.S. entered when, like 44. So certainly we weren't in any kind of bull market. We didn't break the highs of the 1929 until like the 1950s or something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers, guys. I'm just going by memory here a little bit. But the point is this: we're coming into a point that is very similar. We have a Republican in office right now with a crashing market. Now, here's the big difference. The big difference is the market was crashing for 3 years going into the election. With Trump, the market is only crashing in his final year of his first term. Now, if the market has been crashing for 2 years or more, I would have said Trump has no chance. With the market crashing only in its final year, Trump still has a chance, but he has to get the economy back up and running ASAP. And Trump knows this. Trump knows every week that the economy in the US is shut down is like 2 more percentage points towards his opponent. Whoever his opponent is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who Trump's opponent is, okay? For every day the economy is shut down, the socialist opponent that he's going to go up against is winning. okay, he's winning. They're going to blame Trump for Corona. They're going to blame Trump for the market crash. They're going to blame Trump for the government shutdown, even though the Democrats are pushing for the shutdown to last as long as possible to give you more and more welfare. So look, I understand that you got to weigh the health risk of opening the economy, but and I'm not going to talk about what I would have done. I think Trump has done as best a job as he could. What the economy needs to open up. They need to open it. They need to open the stores. They need to tell people how to be careful. They need to tell people how to protect themselves. They need to be very clear that if you're over the age of 50, or if you are any age but have health problems, you may still want to be indoors. If your company is able to work remotely, people should continue to work remotely. But if your business cannot work remotely, like a restaurant, like an exterminator, you have to allow them to work again. You have to let people be by themselves. You have to let people go surfing. You have to let people, do a barbecue outdoors. Like, this is ridiculous. And this is a very interesting thing. Now, just like what happened in 1932, right? What happened when the Republican, that is more free market, even though for some crazy reason, raised taxes, but he raised taxes to be more responsible. He didn't raise taxes to create social programs. Remember, Roosevelt created all kinds of social programs. He raised taxes to be more responsible, not to go into debt, not to continue going into deficit, but it still lost him the election. But what happened? But there was a banking panic when the socialist was going to take office. And that's going to be an issue in the upcoming election. Okay, so yes, if Bernie Sanders withdrew, so we don't know who the hell is going to run. Hillary might run. Biden shouldn't be too bad, but if Hillary runs or another crazy runs for office from the Democratic side, people may panic and start to withdraw and have another bank run, especially if the economy is still doing bad and whatever money people have left at the bank. That's why the Democrats are so hell-bent on creating a digital currency to eliminate physical cash. The Democrats are scared of a bank run. Trump is more capitalist. Trump understands why people want to take their money out of a bank. But the Democrats think it's because, people want to avoid taxes. And therefore, the risk of a bank run and a huge financial panic is very, very high if Trump starts to lose the election, exactly like what happened with Hoover losing after one term as president to Franklin Delano. I can't. I've been talking a mile a minute. I'm just going to say FDR. Okay. All right. I think rant's over. I think you guys get the point of what can happen going into the presidential election. And there's just so much uncertainty with how long this economy is going to be shut down. I also tweeted out some other cool articles. So please check my Twitter for more. Maybe I'll cover those in a future video. Okay. Let's go to your questions. Let's put the S&P 500 back on. Let's see where we are. This is not a good posture. This is generally a bearish looking 10-minute candle pattern, but Sunday night, anything goes. I have some really good questions. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of them, but I promised someone I would take a look at lean hogs and sugar. I took a look at lean hogs this morning. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the VIX is on a 9, which does tell me that going into this week, there's a high probability of a price drop and more volatility. So I am expecting the VIX to rise. Could only be 1 to 4 days. Then it could still keep going down. I don't know. But when I saw this over the weekend, unfortunately, I didn't see it on Thursday when the market was open. I only found out about this on Friday. So I never, I would have potentially slightly positioned to the bear side of the market going into Monday, only because of this chart and solely because of this chart. Here are lean hogs. I mentioned it this morning. I'll mention it one more time. Lean hogs is basically pig futures, and they are at a historical low. And they did hit a 9 recently, but I don't like the shape of this 9 candle. I would not rush into the lean hogs trade. I would wait, because as long as the economy is shut down, agriculture is also not doing too well. And sugar is, nope, which one is sugar? Is EW? No, it's wheat. SB, I think, is sugar. Yes, sugar. Sugar might also be at historic lows. So I saw the weekly 7. I want to look at it on a monthly scale. Not historic lows, but it's pretty low. Look, I normally eat once a day, but sitting in quarantine, I'm not following my... oh, what happened here? Oh, the 1 hour chart. You know, I got to drop the 1 hour here. The 1 hour is not useful. Anyway, what was I going to say? So I'm not sticking to my 1 a day meal. I'm kind of snacking throughout the day because I don't want to sit in front of a computer all day. So it makes me want to get away from the computer and go to the kitchen and raid the fridge and the cabinet. Now, I don't have a lot of bad food in the house, but I have a lot of good food in the house, but I am eating more than once a day. So I don't know if people are consuming more or less sugar while they're in quarantine, but I don't like this chart. Like this 9 would have been beautiful to buy on a monthly scale. I don't know what it looked like on a weekly scale back in June. Oh, nice. There's that 9 on a monthly and weekly. That would have been beautiful. This is in August, and here's another 9. Both of them, these are weekly 9s. As there was a 9 on a monthly right in the summer, and I don't know what it was dated. I would wait. I would at least wait for the weekly 9. I wouldn't rush into this. Okay. Let's look at your questions from the live chat. And then I have a question from one of my Telegram groups that was very good. Tone, does the fact that government worldwide looks to be scrambling to create digital currency worry you that when, not if, it's game over, as there is no way they will allow buying any crypto? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. By the time, first of all, by the time they get their digital currency together, it will be years away. They're not going to create a digital currency tomorrow. I'm sorry. US $100 bills aren't going anywhere. And there will certainly be demand for Bitcoin. So what you're saying is, like, companies like, remember, companies like Kraken, companies like Gemini, they're not going away. They're still going to be here. Exchanges are going to be there, and you will be able to withdraw that Bitcoin to your own wallet. Now, the government it'll be very difficult for the government to say a Kraken can't let you take possession of your Bitcoin. Now, they could, but the law on that isn't coming tomorrow. So at least there'll be one more cycle. So I think Bitcoin will reach another all-time high, like a new all-time high. So maybe when Bitcoin goes to $50,000 or $100,000, the government will try to put that law in. But by then, the Bitcoin market cap will be pushing $1 trillion, like gold. And there'll be enough Bitcoin around the streets for people to buy that Bitcoin with something, sell their services, for Bitcoin. They'll do it. Now, they may be breaking the law, but it'll be hard. You won't be able to keep Bitcoin down. And don't forget, there's not going to be a global there's not going to be, not every single country is going to agree. Like if Europe and the US and Australia and Japan and other countries all agree that Bitcoin is bad, Russia and China might say, well, if the West thinks Bitcoin is bad, maybe Bitcoin is good, you know? So there'll be a lot of countries, like Japan already made Bitcoin fully legal to use. Other countries have as well. So you're not going to get every country on the same page. All right, next question. Okay, so the 5G conspiracy theory on COVID. Man, do I really want to get into it? I don't want to get into it because I don't want to get this YouTube channel shut down or this video shut down. But I will just say this. I will just read your comment and I will comment real quick. Only 5 countries have 5G. Over 100 countries have, you know, the spreading of COVID. That's not how the conspiracy theory goes. I'm not going to say whether I believe in the conspiracy theory or not. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not an expert at 5G. But at least you have to understand the conspiracy theory in order to properly assess whether it's crazy or there's logic to it. The conspiracy theory goes like this. And again, I'm not saying I believe in it. I have no comment. I'm just saying, here's how it goes. The creation of COVID is caused by 5G. So Wuhan, where COVID started, was one of the first regions that have large amounts of 5G, okay? That creates it by your body. I have no idea, but like your body extracts the virus. Now, once you may or may not be sick, but you are spreading the virus. So once that virus gets out, anything can happen. It's kind of like saying, well, only China, if the virus started from eating bats, how come the virus spread throughout the world? Nobody else eats bats, right? Like that's the logic you got to apply to the 5G concept. So the 5 countries that have 5G created the virus, but now that the virus is out there, anyone can catch it from anyone that had it. And this is the big misconception, that you have to have 5G in your country to get it. Now, I'm not saying this is true or not. I'm just saying if you're going to complain about the conspiracy theory, you have to understand the conspiracy theory itself. Okay. And like I said in my tweet, I'll take 5G. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not here to, I'm not here to create I don't have the expertise to say 5G is ridiculous and it has nothing to do with COVID, or 5G had everything to do with COVID. Like, I have absolutely no idea, and it's not for me, and I'm not going to spend my time researching. But what I'm going to say is, I want 5G. I want faster internet speeds. I want technology to progress forward. But no, I do not want government spying on me better by using it. But hey, we need the right people in office to prevent that. Let's go. I don't know why I'm still looking at sugar. S&P 500. See, this is not good. This is a very bearish posture, which will probably lead to a drop in the market. Okay, next question. Is Bitcoin dumping? Okay, there it is. So we have broken these levels. We still have time. We can still bounce back. See, what happens tonight is difficult to judge because the S&P has to open for market open. I've never denied the fact that Bitcoin is correlated with the S&P. What I'm saying is that sometime over the next few weeks, people will start to see Bitcoin as more of a safe haven, and this relationship is going to slow down. But we can really end anywhere because we have to wait for tomorrow's stock market open to judge Bitcoin. But right now, I would not want to be in a Bitcoin long trade. I am in a Bitcoin long trade, but it's a longer term long trade, and GBTC is closed, so I can't sell it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And by the time the market opens tomorrow, we could be back up. But as a short-term trade, I don't want to be in here because look, we just broke these lows. The bullish trade was here, and then you got to get out. You got to get out of this trade. Got to get out. All right, more questions. Do you see an ascending channel on the daily? I don't know, maybe. I mean, a small one here, maybe. Not big enough to really care. Okay, here's the other problem. The daily chart. The daily chart has just become problematic. If this candle closes as a red 4, remember, the red 2 never went below a red 1. The red 3 never went below a red 2. But the red 4 just went below a red 3. That is an indication that the daily chart has just given you a short trade. It has just given you a short trade. And very possible we can go lower, okay? I still have this line. I still think Bitcoin will hold this line, but it certainly doesn't have to. And right now, if this candle closes as a red 4, I will no longer, remember the 1 to 4 candle correction, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are now on our 5th candle. So if this candle does not close as a green candle, you have gone beyond the 1 to 4 candle correction needed to continue the uptrend. And therefore, the probability that we will continue going down for 5 additional days into a daily 9 is now significantly high. But that's a time analysis, not a price analysis. Okay, more questions. Joe asks, Tone, what do you think is causing the incredible correlation? It wasn't like that in years past. I don't know. The markets are more integrated. It's more and more professional traders are using it, and I mean, panic in a private sector, will cause it. Also, I did look back at the correlation over a year. Bitcoin and S&P have been pretty correlated. It's just that they've been correlated in direction. They haven't been correlated in intensity. So every time Bitcoin goes up, S&P goes up, Bitcoin goes up. S&P goes down, Bitcoin goes down. Only S&P was making new highs when it was rising, and Bitcoin was making lower highs. And then there was a flip side, right? Bitcoin just made a new low when the S&P also kind of made a new low. But so they've been pretty correlated as far as direction, maybe not so much in their peaks as far as intensity. Tone, are there any new tickers you are looking at that would outperform if a lot of regulations stay the same after Corona? TDOC, for example, is what I'm looking at as a long-term trade. I honestly have not had much time to research. Contrary, like I really thought that I would have all this time to like trade and do all this research, but I'm still doing twice a week videos. I'm still dealing with 1 million emails. Everyone wants me to speak at their online conferences. Apparently, I'm playing poker every other day now for tournaments. So it's I have no individual stocks to look at because I haven't had time to really focus on it. Oh, I see a question from Leah. I'll get to it in a second, Leah. What reasoning would BitMEX CEO Arthur Hay say Bitcoin could retest 3,000? I have absolutely no idea. I don't really want to talk about Arthur Hay. I did read his blog post. We are in agreement. I have also been saying before that blog post even came out that gold, Bitcoin, and the dollar will all rise together. That makes sense to me as well. And I don't know. You got to ask him. Don't ask me. Don't ask me questions about what other people think. I mean, I'm not here to. I don't want to judge. Leah, thank you for joining. I had no idea you were in a live chat, but I have your question. Tone, thoughts on global food shortages due to diatribes, supply chain, and how this affects prices. I just wrote a piece about it, but most pressing question. Oh, the Bitcoin is dumping. Yeah. I don't really have an opinion. I haven't seen food shortages yet in my area, but this is a problem. They have to open the global economy back up, and they have to open it. That's it. You got to take a chance. You got to tell people that are, you got to tell people to get healthier, because that's why you're going to die from Corona. That's not true in all cases, but if you're healthy, your chances of dying from Corona are very, very low. But if you're unhealthy, your chances of dying from Corona are very, very high. So it's unfortunate that there are so many people around the world that are freaking unhealthy that all of us got to sit in our homes for the next X number of months, right? So eventually people will get out there. I think the food supply will be fine. Why should I avoid leverage ETFs? This is a very long discussion. I can't get into it right now. One day I just got to do a video on it. I don't know if I ever will. Just Google it. Just Google it. There's plenty of articles out there. Google how terrible leveraged ETFs are for the average consumer. Do you ever look at price in something other than dollars, like the price of gold in Bitcoin and vice versa? No, I do not. Though I really should look at the price of, I just realized recently, I really should be looking at the price of gold in British pounds, not in dollars. Because looking at gold in dollars only gives you the price of gold as of 1971. But looking at gold in British pounds will probably give you a good price of gold going back to like 1200 or 1400 or something. So there could be a good reason to look at the price of gold in something other than the dollar. But other than that, no. I look at the most used currency. I look at the most commonly used currency. If looking at it in other currencies distorts the real value of the asset, I think, and it shows you the depreciation of those currencies. All right, we got more questions. Is Bitcoin technically where you expected it to be in 2020? Probably. No, Bitcoin is actually higher. I expected Bitcoin to be lower, clearly. I thought Bitcoin would be around 2,000, but I also thought it would have already bottomed, right? So I expected a bottom in Bitcoin below 2,000, and I expected a long, slow grind into the halving. So the price of Bitcoin is still higher than where I expected it to be over my lifetime up to this point. So I'm happy that the price of Bitcoin is in the vicinity of 7,000 because it has over, what's the word I'm looking for? It has, Bitcoin price has exceeded my expectation since I got involved in Bitcoin in 2013. And it's kind of still exceeding them today. And hopefully the price of Bitcoin will continue to exceed my expectation because my expectations are very low for Bitcoin. I expect 50,000 in the year 2023 going into the next halving. So if Bitcoin can exceed my expectation of going to 50,000 before 2023, I will be very, very happy. Earnings reports coming soon. That won't be good. This earnings season will probably be the most unpredictable earnings season ever. Please check thanks for checking Brazilian currency earlier today. Oh, you're welcome. All right, guys. I don't know. I guess I can. Oh, I have one more really, really, really good question. Really good question. I've already gone over an hour. I don't know if I want to save it or not. I'll read the question. Hey, it's the last question I'm covering. So that's it. A-Tone, imagine Bitcoin was the new world currency and everyone used it. Sure, countries will have fiat, but nobody cares. All businesses, big and small, everything is paid in Bitcoin. Then a virus hits and everything stops. What would countries be able to do to stimulate their economies? So this is a very, very good and challenging question. The simple answer is, I honestly don't know. This was the problem with the gold standard. Before I answer it, I have on-demand videos to learn how to trade. We have 1,200 viewers. Beautiful. If you want to support, please use the affiliate page. I will continue to pimp out Embly cards because I can't wait to get one of these. And talk about a conversation starter when you pull out a metal card that is heavy as hell and use it to pay for your stuff. Everyone always asks you, what the hell is that? So they're absolutely incredible. Okay. And the financial summit taking place, Bali, Indonesia, first week of November. All right. S&P is also on the verge of puking out a lung, but being Sunday night, anything can happen. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Short-term chart. All right. Man, this is a tough question. Really tough question. I'll read it one more time. I'm going to cut the camera for this. Now I should leave the price of Bitcoin on so you guys can watch it in case you're watching the price of Bitcoin from your side. Imagine Bitcoin is used everywhere and it's the most dominant currency around the world. A virus hits. What can governments do to stimulate their economy? Well, the best thing that the government can do to stimulate their economy is to lower taxes and lower regulation. So let's start there. The government doesn't have to print money in order to stimulate the economy. The government could lower regulation, lower barrier to entry, give people more freedom. And let's start there, okay? You lower taxes. That's one. Let me find something that I can reference. 1 second. Nope, not this one. Hold on. Or maybe it was this one. Oh yeah, it was this one. Okay, so here's a great read from Martin Armstrong, and this was the article that I referenced in what I was reading earlier about Herbert Hoover. It's down here somewhere. It's a long article right there. This part. Okay. And it talks about a two-tier monetary system. And it talks about how, and this was a really good read. It talks about what happened in the panic of 1873, and also what happened in panics during the gold standard, and how and how there was a creation of elastic money. So I mean, this is a long read. I don't know if I can summarize it, but it's very, very interesting. Basically, there was no Fed. The Fed was created to do this, but then the government took it over, and it didn't take the government long to take over the Fed. It only took them a year. But so basically, the clearinghouse created an elastic money. So they basically printed money, but this money could not be used for goods and services by the people. It was money that had collateral so that companies wouldn't have to sell their assets, so that financial institutions wouldn't have to sell their stock. So it was collateralized by stock in order to prevent massive selling. And then the institutions would use this money in order to like pay each other debts for short-term operations. And this money came with an expiration date, saying after this date, this money is no longer valid. So yes, they had to kind of guess correctly how long this panic could last. And this money would actually be canceled. So it was a way to prevent panic selling of assets. And this money was not to be used by the general public, but it was a way to for companies to kind of use this elastic money during times of panic to prevent the institutions and to prevent bank failures and to prevent other things from completely collapsing, to create confidence amongst the big institutions, and in order to prevent more panic selling and more companies going out of business. So something like this could be possible. And then after having multiple panics from 1983 to 1907 to 1910, the banks got together and created the Federal Reserve to provide this function for private sector by the private sector. And then World War I comes and the government takes over the Federal Reserve, forcing the Federal Reserve to start buying government bonds instead, and everything goes to shit. So, so you really want to read this article. I tweeted it out very, very recently. It was, I tweeted it out April 11th. So yesterday, it was the article that I referenced when I talked about this chart. So find it on my Twitter and give it a look. All right, guys, I got to call it a day. We'll glance at the price of Bitcoin one more time. And I'll bring you a video tomorrow morning before market opens. This candle can still go in either direction. But if this candle closes as a red 4, closing below this red line, I think Bitcoin will struggle this week, okay? But it's still correlated to the stock market. And the stock market is the driver. We just proved it tonight. It got proven tonight. Bitcoin was right there. Like if I go to the hourly chart, when did Bitcoin start to fall? Started to fall at 6 p.m., which is exactly when the futures open for the stock market. So Bitcoin is still correlated with the stock market. I just think that it'll weather the storm. If the stock market crashes, I don't think Bitcoin is going to crash as badly. It already had its crash. All right, I got 2 more. Damn it. Guys, stop sending in questions. Would you feel safe if you had about 85% of your wealth in Bitcoin? I don't want to answer this question. I don't want to answer this question. It's a challenging question to answer. I don't know how much of your wealth is in Bitcoin, right? So if 85% of your wealth is in Bitcoin, but your wealth is $5 million, you're still safe, right? So first of all, if 85% of your wealth is in Bitcoin and it's 5 million, let's say it's even $1 million worth, right? Let's say you have $1 million in liquid net worth, and 85% of that is in Bitcoin. So that means 150,000 of it is in cash and 850,000 of it is in Bitcoin. Would I feel safe? Yeah, I would still feel safe because first of all, I don't expect that Bitcoin to go to zero. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin loses, a 70%, it goes down to 2,000. It still then bounces from there. Even if Bitcoin goes down to 2,000, you still have 150,000 in Bitcoin plus 150,000 in cash. That's enough money to survive even in the most expensive country in the world, right? Now, on the other hand, if 85% of your value is in Bitcoin, but it's only $50,000, I'm not going to feel safe. I'm not going to feel comfortable, right? Because now, let's say $100,000, right? Not $1 million. Now, out of 100,000, 85,000 is in Bitcoin, 15,000 is in cash. And if Bitcoin drops to 2,000 or drops to zero, I may be in financial trouble. So it's not always about the percentage of your net worth in Bitcoin. It's also about how much money is it. Now, if you're the kind of person that goes out to dinner and spends $5,000 on a dinner, then yeah, having 85% of your 1 million in Bitcoin is not that great, right? But if you're the kind of person that can drive a 10-year-old car, then you're fine, right? So it's a very complicated question. A lightning channel for this. Yeah, I wish. All right, guys, that's it. That is it. That is it. Once again, support through affiliates. I'll try to bring you another great video tomorrow morning, which is Monday morning before market open. I'm gonna not panic. Most important thing to do is not to panic. As I've said earlier, I have a long position in GBTC, and I am happy to add more on a dip. But if the next 24 hours are bad, I will wait 5 more days and try to catch the next 9. That's my plan, which will change with every tick. Every tick changes. If this thing goes up and comes back to 68.50, giving me a beautiful hammer candle, my outlook for tomorrow is going to change. But if in the next 5 seconds, the price of Bitcoin drops to 6,600, obviously I'm going to be bearish. So a lot depends on how this candle ends. And this candle is only 1 hour into a 24-hour day. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. We had over 1,200 viewers again. Please subscribe, and I will see you all bright and early tomorrow before market open. Still in quarantine, hopefully not for too long. Bye-bye, guys.